Welcome to the Tell Me Something Good podcast, ranked by the International Association of Awesome Podcasts as the best podcast in the history of podcasts. Wait, is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. Anyway, seeking to shine a light on all that is good in an ever-darkening world of negativity. Here's your host, Clint Swindall.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast, the place we try to do one of three things every single week. Engage your mind, encourage your heart, or enlighten your soul. I am thrilled you chose to join us for some good stuff. This is episode number 27 of the Tell Me Something Good podcast, brought to you this week by South Texas Barbecue Emporium. We love featuring local businesses. So many have been hurt by the shutdowns across the country. Small local businesses are what keep us going, and we love to lift them up and wave their flag. And since we all have to eat, it's important that we eat well. And the family at South Texas Barbecue Emporium can help you to do just that with their selection of some of the nation's best spices, rubs, and marinades. Whether you want to impress your family and friends with your backyard barbecue skills, or you want to blaze a trail on the competition barbecue circuit, you need to reach out to the good folks at the Emporium. Check them out at southtexasbbqemporium.com. That's southtexasbbqemporium.com. This past week, I had a memory pop up on my Facebook feed. It was from 3 years ago. I had written a blog for my 50th birthday, and the memory was sharing the blog post. While I had forgotten about the post, I had not forgotten about the content of the post. I just hadn't reviewed it in a while. The memory that showed up on my wall reminded me that when I turned 30 years old, someone suggested I write a list of 30 things I still wanted to achieve in my life, so I could see I still had a lot to do in this world. When I turned 40 years old, I wrote a list of 40 things I had accomplished. I suppose I wanted to feel I was making progress toward living a fulfilled life. And just as I was about to turn 50, I met a guy at an airport who suggested most people don't like milestone birthdays because it reminds them of all the things they haven't learned. As I celebrated my 50th birthday 3 years ago, I thought about what wisdom I had collected over the years. That old guy at the airport made me wonder what life lessons I'd learned after 50 trips around the sun. So I sat down and wrote a list of 50 things I'd learned. That list is what showed up in my memories. I remembered how much fun I had creating the list and the significance of the lessons learned as I read through them again. By the time I got to the end, I knew I needed to share the list with you here on the podcast. And here's what they are. Number 1, where I am in life is directly related to the choices I've made, good and bad. Number 2, if I don't like where I am in life, it's never too late to make better choices. Never. Number 3, no matter how bad they are, my past mistakes do not define me. Number 4, giving to those in need makes me much happier than buying new stuff for myself. Number 5, I've learned more life lessons from my dogs than most smart people I know. Number 6, I like my dogs more than most people I know. Number 7, no matter how much we want to hang on, we outgrow some friendships. Number 8, critics suck, particularly those who have never done what they are criticizing. Number 9, we owe it to others to be on time. Being consistently late is not funny. It's rude. Number 10, God got it right when He made ice cream, specifically Bluebell ice cream. Number 11, words are powerful. They can lift someone or tear them down. Choose wisely. Number 12, nobody wants to hear my problems. They have enough of their own. Number 13, the best improvement any of us can make to our physical appearance is a smile. Number 14, I need to learn from the past, then cut loose the anchors dragging me down. Number 15, everyone we meet is important to somebody. We need to treat them that way. Number 16, being fully engaged in what I'm doing will always beat dragging myself through life. Number 17, I can live the rest of my days without encountering mustard or sour cream. Ugh. Number 18, every gut feeling I've ever had was God's way of nudging me to listen and obey. Number 19, no one is smarter than me because they've overcomplicated something. Number 20, my willingness to tolerate nonsense expired the moment I turned 50. Number 21, we become like our friends. Surround yourself with the right people. Number 22, we all need people who will challenge us. We seldom learn otherwise. Number 23, not everyone will like me and the decisions I make, and I'm okay with that. Number 24, we can't get okay with aging until we get okay with where we're going when we die. Number 25, there is nothing wrong with striving for more, but we got to get happy with what we have. Number 26, we need to live a life of appreciation for both the good times and the setbacks. Number 27, I don't need to be right all the time. The focus should be kind, not right. Number 28, we can either be right or we can be happy. Choose happy. Number 29, forgiving others is not letting someone off the hook. It's for the one doing the forgiving. Number 30, life as we know it can change in the blink of an eye. Enjoy what you have. Number 31, we will never be fully satisfied until we have figured out our bigger purpose. Number 32, we need to find our philanthropic passion and dedicate our lives to it. Number 33, my bullshit meter is more tuned than ever. I can smell it a mile away. Number 34, common sense has proven to be far more valuable than book smarts. Number 35, we all need to depend on a higher power. For me, that is God. Number 36, life got remarkably better when I figured out number 35 and put him out in front. Number 37, we can't save the world, but we can make an impact on those in need around us. Number 38, no matter how bad we have it, somebody has it worse. Perspective. Number 39, there is evil in the world, but the good will always outnumber the bad. Number 40, it may be a cliche, but you get out of something what you put into it, period. Number 41, we all like our stuff, but in the end, that's all it is, stuff. Number 42, life is hard, and we all have a responsibility to help others along on their journey. Number 43, we need to make ourselves a priority. Do something you enjoy for you. Number 44, I'm uplifted when I hear the good in other people's lives. Hence, tell me something good. Number 45, bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. It's just life. Number 46, we can always find something to celebrate. Put something in a glass and raise it high. Hence, Champagne Friday. Number 47, life got easier when I followed this simple command. Love God, love others. Number 48, relationships matter. Focus on them, or life will get in the way. Number 49, the world tears people down. We need more people lifting others up. And number 50, George Bailey was right. It's a wonderful life. A friend of mine once told me that getting old is not for sissies. And I suppose he's right when we consider what the aging process does to our bodies and our minds. The reality is getting older isn't an option, but choosing how we view it certainly is. On the heels of having just celebrated my 53rd birthday, I choose to consider all the lessons I've learned. Life, well, it's a precious thing, and it can end at any time. If mine ends tomorrow, I will know I've enjoyed a life filled with love of others. I will know I found my philanthropic passion and lived to serve others. But if the plan is for me to live a life that will allow me to experience many more milestone birthdays, I know there are many more lessons to be learned. It is my hope that everyone listening to this podcast will stop to consider the lessons they've learned and perhaps learn one or two from my experiences.
You're listening to Tell Me Something Good with Clint Swindall.
Last week, we were excited to announce the publication of the Tell Me Something Good book. We are sure thankful for everyone who has pre-ordered the book. This little book was made possible by 13 Stories Publishing. They're a small, independent publishing company, and we encourage you to support them by going to 13 Stories Publishing for all of your book needs. They have a wide selection of books from many genres. Check them out at 13storiespublishing.com. Each week I end the podcast telling listeners to reach out if they have a question they'd like to ask. I got a good one last week from a guy named Ryan, and I thought I'd share it in this segment called
Ask Clint Anything. 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 Anything.
Here's what he had. Clint, I work with a guy who is toxic when it comes to negativity. It's never enough for him to just complain. It's like he's just determined to bring bitterness to everyone around him, every day. He never stops. I get bitter every time I'm around him. Any suggestions? Great question, Ryan. Years ago, my wife and I watched a movie titled I Am Legend. Some of you may have seen it. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's a science fiction movie starring Will Smith. Now, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, so I didn't really spend a whole lot of time focusing that much on the movie, but one part in particular got my attention. Will Smith's character was asked why he worked so hard at the mission he had in the movie, and he referred to Bob Marley in his response. Here's what he said. He had this idea. It was kind of a virologist idea. He believed he could cure racism and hate, literally cure it, by injecting music and love into people's lives. One day he was scheduled to perform at a peace concert. Gunmen came to his house and shot him down. 2 days later, he walked out on that stage and sang. Someone asked him why. He said the people who were trying to make this world worse are not taking a day off. How can I? Light up the darkness. Wow. Every day we encounter people who are trying to make this world worse. Most of them don't have evil intentions. They may just live a life of anger and negativity. In fact, their circumstances may just be so bad that they unintentionally make the world worse for those around them. Regardless of their intentions, they drag down the people around them with their focus on the bad stuff in life, and most seem never to take a day off. So here's the deal, Ryan. If they aren't taking a day off, neither should you. 2 things I would suggest you do. 1, lead the way. People watch you more than you'll ever know. Whether you lead others in your personal or professional life, those around you are feeding off your energy, which means you can't take a day off from spreading the good word. Every day when you get up, you should know that people are depending on you. I spoke to a lady after a virtual presentation last week who said she was having a lousy day. She said that the whole day had been bad and she was just waiting for tomorrow and hoping it would get better. In essence, she took the day off from lighting up the darkness. Throughout these challenging times, you'll find that things will annoy you or put you in a lousy mood. In fact, it just happened to me this morning. I allowed myself 5 minutes to wallow around in the crud, then got myself back on track in order to lead the way. And 2, be relentless in challenging people with Tell Me Something Good. It's a challenge to others to find the good stuff regardless of what's happening in their life. Once you've identified what good stuff is happening in your own life, lead the way by making Tell Me Something Good a part of who you are. There has been plenty of crud in the news this week. While it would wear down the average Joe, it didn't have a chance against me because I'm always out looking for the good stuff. As I often do, I found some good news in the world filled with negativity, and I just feel like I need to tell you about it in this segment called
Good News from Around the World.
Even before the pandemic, Girl Scout Lucy Stimson knew there was a growing problem in her community. Stress was a huge part of her life, and many of the people in her community felt the same way. That's why Lucy chose to take a stand in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and help others while earning her Girl Scout Gold Award. The Gold Award is the highest award a Girl Scout can earn and requires 80 hours of volunteering to create a sustainable difference in the community. She started a Facebook page, Making a Stress-Free Breakthrough, and has been regularly posting tips since April. The page features different ways to reduce stress, with topics ranging from meditation and mindfulness to pep talks and fun videos. She has recently included a stress workshop guidebook containing a variety of activities, like how to make a stress ball. She also posted a homemade coloring book for getting into the zen of artwork at home, and an excellent animal crossword puzzle her fans could download. When asked how the project has affected her life and community, Lucy said, "The project has helped me by opening up to my family about mental health. I found it in myself to tell my parents about my stress and anxiety. I've been using some of the techniques to calm myself when I get overly stressed. This helped me to put what I have been feeling into perspective and to ask for help." She also created her own stress-busting website that has all the tips and tricks neatly arranged on the home page. Sometimes stress is so overwhelming and it seems to consume you, but that doesn't mean that you have to settle for that. I have done my project because I have been there. I know how it feels. It's hard. If I can help even one person, it will all be worth it, she added. I think we all need a little help sometimes, Lucy said, especially now. Ain't that the truth? And then there's this. Like many elderly Americans, Gloria Scott lives on a limited income. Sometimes that means making hard choices. If money's tight, home repair and maintenance are often the first things to fall by the wayside. When Scott's overhead light fixture went out, however, she decided living in the dark wouldn't do. Though she knew her budget would take a hit, she called in electrician John Kinney to make the necessary repairs. Little did the 72-year-old know, she wasn't just getting an electrician. She was getting a knight in shining armor as well. Deeply troubled by the extreme state of disrepair he found Scott's house in, Kinney couldn't get the woman's desperate situation out of his head. No lights, no running water. I saw her on a Friday and it stuck with me over the weekend. I said, I have to go back there. Rather than walk away, Kinney went back to Scott's place and started working on some other much-needed repairs, free of charge. But he didn't stop there. Kinney set up a Nice Old Lady Needs Help Facebook page to solicit other local tradespeople to lend a hand as well. The enthusiastic response was pretty amazing. With an impressive chunk of the Woburn, Massachusetts community rallying to the call, so far, Scott's home has gotten new electrical and plumbing systems, new windows, and extensive repairs to the crumbling walls, ceilings, front steps, and porch. Meanwhile, outside, as neighbors toiled on landscape cleanup and new planting projects, a steady flow of food donations streamed in to feed the volunteers. To say Scott was blown away by the outpouring of generosity is an understatement. "Look at these people," she exclaimed. "You can't even comprehend the gratitude that I have. The project was such a success. Kenny decided to take it to the next level. Naming the initiative Gloria's Gladiators, he hopes to inspire a legion of like-minded knights in shining armor, electric or otherwise, to help needy seniors in their own communities. That sounds like a pretty bright idea. And that, my friends, is some good news from around the world. Before I end this episode with a challenge, I want to encourage you to take your social media game to a whole new level by checking out Let's Talk Smack, an app that provides daily nudges to get you increasing your visibility in social media. Look, if you're tired of not knowing what to post on social media as you promote your small business, or just want to have a more engaging presence personally on social media, you need a plan. And the Let's Talk Smack app can help you create that plan. Check it out wherever you get your apps. And now the challenge. Before you come back for the next episode, I challenge you to expand on the challenge I gave you last week. If you weren't with us, what were you thinking? I'm not even sure we should tell you what the challenge was if you didn't join us. Of course we will. Just don't miss again, and circle back and listen to last week's episode. Last week I challenged listeners to reach out to 3 people in their contact list on their phone who they thought could use an inspiring word. Being 7 months into this pandemic, there are many people who have stayed home and avoided contact with others. I could sure use some kindness. We were built for social interaction. And we all have some friends who are feeling lonely and could use a message. If you weren't with us last week, then that is your challenge. If you were with us, your challenge is to pick another 3. There's so many people who could use an uplifting word right now, and it just may need to come from you. So before you come back next week, take a few minutes and make a call, send a text, send an email, or stop by for a visit. They'll appreciate it, and you'll feel better for having done it. Well, that's all for today's episode of the Tell Me Something Good podcast. Join us again next week. As we do every week, we'll jump back in here with a special episode of Champagne Friday this Friday morning. Also, do me a favor. As soon as you're done listening to this episode, find a place in your listening app and leave me a rating. Our listenership is growing, and we have you to thank for that. If you have a question for the podcast, if you want to share your good stuff, in fact, I want to hear your good stuff, or if you need to find the links to join us on social media, jump over to findthegoodinlife.com. You'll find all you need right there on the front page. And while you're there, click on the green products button and go get you some Tell Me Something Good merch and start spreading some good to the world. Don't forget to include the promo code TMSG2020 to get yourself a 10% discount. Thanks for listening. Until next week, I'll be praying for God to bless you in mighty ways. Now, get out there and love on somebody.
You've been listening to the Tell Me Something Good podcast. The content of the podcast is meant to engage, encourage, and enlighten you to become more positive. It's not meant to diagnose, treat, or replace the personalized care provided by a trained professional. If you're struggling with depression or mental health issues, please reach out to a counselor for diagnosis and treatment. Until next time, be positive, people.